Hello. This video will provide you with full operating and maintenance instructions for Cargo Data's Boomerang series of reusable temperature recorders. In order to configure your Boomerang recorder for initial use, you will need to connect it to your computer, and your computer must have installed and running ColdLink software, which is a free download from cargodatacorp.com. When your Boomerang was shipped to you, it included a special USB connection kit cord which will allow you to connect Boomerang to your computer. Once the ColdLink software is open, click on the Boomerang Setup menu at the top left corner of your software. The software will then look for and find your Boomerang recorder while it's connected, and you will now have a screen which will allow you to make a number of configuration choices. This number here is called the serial number, and it coincides with the sticker on the front of your Boomerang recorder. In this case, the recorder has the sticker with the number 887, and here you will see it, the second, or I should say the last two numbers are 00. Each time Boomerang is used, this number will change. For example, the first time Boomerang is used, the number will read here 88701. When the stop button is pressed and the start button is hit again, the serial number changes to 88702, and so on. Now, with regard to the features, Boomerang has what's called an audible locating beeper, and that beeper can be either enabled or disabled on this screen. The beeper is designed to make it easier to find the recorder in a loaded trailer or a crowded cooler. When it is enabled, the recorder will emit 3 short beeps every 30 seconds or so. If the recorder is to be used in a place where quiet is required, leave it disabled. If you wish to have the beeper enabled, simply click on the Enable button. Here we have an option for a cooldown delay before the LED alerts are triggered. This means that after the start button is pressed on your Boomerang, you can decide how long you wish to have a delay before it starts throwing an alert LED showing that it's out of range. For example, if you press the start button and you would like the alert to be activated immediately if there is a out of range condition, leave the No selection enabled. If, however, you plan to start the Boomerang recorder and perhaps let it remain in a shipping office for about an hour before it's placed in a truck, choose 60 minutes. That will allow time of 1 hour to take place before the LED alerts are triggered. You can also do a similar delay for the beeper. In this box, ranges, you can choose what is the desired range for your temperature recorder. If you have a cooler with fresh produce, for example, and the desired range is 33 to 39 degrees, you would leave it as shown here. If you have a freezer, for example, and you would like it in the -10 for the low and say 0 for the highest temperature in your cooler, you would set it like this. Obviously, if there is a temperature excursion out of this desired range, the red LED on the face of your Boomerang will illuminate. You also have an opportunity here to add a location to the digital record. In this case, we'll say we're in cooler 1, and we'll call that the Apple cooler. In this area, we have an opportunity to choose how frequently the Boomerang will take a temperature sample. The memory in Boomerang is finite. If we take a sample every minute, that means that Boomerang can only run for a maximum of 7 days. If we need a greater number of days monitored, we can stretch out the sampling frequency to as long as 35 minutes, which will give us a total of 251 days of monitoring. You may choose which sampling frequency you wish on this field. Lastly, there is an option here where it says reset for battery. Whenever the battery is replaced in Boomerang, Boomerang must be reconnected to your computer, all of these configuration choices made, and then click in this box, which will then reset the internal memory, which will advise you when the battery is getting low. Once you have made your configuration choices, simply click on the Set button to lock those choices digitally into your recorder. You will then receive a success message. Now that your Boomerang has been configured, you may begin your first monitoring session. To start Boomerang, take a pointer like a ballpoint pen and simply press and hold the start button. You will hear a series of beeps to indicate that the unit is running. It will then will show you the intended range, -10 to 0, which we had just set. And it is now the green light is blinking to indicate that the unit is recording. You will also note the word on is displayed in the top of the LCD display. I have now shown you a different temperature recorder. This one is displaying the replace battery message. Obviously, when this happens, the unit will not be started again until the battery has been replaced. However, it is possible at this time to review the temperature data that this unit has collected. If you wish to view the data in Fahrenheit scale, press F. If you wish to review the data in Celsius, press C. In this case, we will press F, and the first display will show us the serial number of the unit, 771, and then the second, or the last two digits, will show you which session, meaning how many times this recorder has been used. In this case, 1 time. It's been running for 71 days, and the range was 33-39, the average was 68, and the high and the low temperatures for the full monitoring session. It then goes day 1 with the average, high and low, day 2, average, high and low, day 3, average, high and low, and so forth throughout the entire monitoring period. To stop temperature monitoring at any time, simply press the stop button. You may need to hold it. The 3 beeps indicate that recording has stopped. At any time, you may connect your Boomerang reusable temperature recorder to your computer running ColdLink software. You can download and view the data from the recorder while the unit is still monitoring. You can also download and view the data after the stop button has been pressed. Once the recorder is connected to your USB connection kit cord and the cord plugged into the USB port on your computer, click on the download button in the upper left corner. ColdLink will then begin downloading data from your Boomerang recorder. Please note that if you wish to add any identifying information such as customer, shipper, carrier, commodity, etc., PO number, it can be listed here and added to your digital record. Once you have done that, click the Save button. The ColdLink software will now display a temperature chart for the monitored period. Here you will see the serial number of the unit. Now in this case 771, those are the numbers that are on the sticker on the face of the recorder. 01 means that is the first recording session for that recorder. Here is your selected range. The range is also indicated on the graph as this shaded area. You will see that all of the recorded data is out of range, above the shaded area. And that, of course, is also reflected in this pie chart, which shows that the entire recording period was over the intended range. The record will also provide the date and time, the elapsed time, and other statistics about the monitoring period. In this chart we see the individual high, low, and mean or average temperature for each day. You can also go between various screens. This is called the tabular screen, which includes the date and the time and the exact temperature for each sample. Going back to the summary screen, we also have a button here that says Show After Stop. Actually, I'm going to show the chart screen now. Even though the stop button has been pressed on your Boomerang, it continues to gather data. If you wish to see that data that is collected after the stop button has been pressed, click here. That data is reflected here as well. To hide that data, click Hide. For further information about how to use your Cold Link software to create reports, to send data to email recipients, and other features, please view the Cold Link software training video found at cargodatacorp.com. Please understand that if you wish to archive data from your Boomerang temperature recorder, that must be done at the conclusion of each recording session. Once the Start button is pressed to begin a subsequent recording session, all data will be lost from the previous session. For clarity, let me repeat that. If you have used your Boomerang to monitor temperatures and you need to archive that data, you must connect your Boomerang to your Cold Link software, download its data before pressing the Start button for the next session. Once the Start button has been pressed, all pre-recorded temperature data will be erased from your Boomerang. To replace the battery, simply flip the Boomerang over and you will see the battery replacement door. We have listed for you on the outside of the door the size battery required, which is a CR2450 coin cell. These batteries are quite common and can be purchased locally, or you may contact Cargo Data to order replacement Boomerang batteries. You may begin to replace your battery by using a number 1 or number 2 Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 2 Phillips head screws from the battery door. Once the battery door has been removed, you may remove the cell by using a screwdriver or other pointer to pop out the battery from its holder. It is important to leave the Boomerang empty with no battery for a minimum of 30 seconds before installing the new battery. The internal circuitry in Boomerang has capacitors and other electronic components which take a few moments to fully discharge. Full discharge is required for the memory to be cleared. When you install a fresh battery, simply push into the top left corner and then down into the lower right corner to fully seat the battery. The 3 beeps you just heard indicate that the memory was was erased properly and that the new battery was installed correctly. Once your new battery has been installed, simply reinstall the 2 Phillips screws, connect Boomerang to your computer, and reconfigure using the steps that we outlined previously. Remember to click the Reset Battery option before clicking the Set button. For complete information about how to use your ColdLink software, please refer to the Cargo Data website at cargodatacorp.com and click on the Download ColdLink Software button on the home page.